Really, as we go through Sunday into next week, it's going to feel actually below average temperature.
It felt cold last night.
It did, didn't it?
I didn't quite get to the point of putting the heating on, but it was all, dressing gowns and jumpers.
By Friday and into the weekend, some places maybe even seeing a bit of grass frost. That's how we're getting. Yeah, we are.
August.
It's because the wind is coming in from the north. It's coming in from the Arctic, and we need it to come in from the south. We've got those really warm, lovely temperatures that we had earlier in the month. But the second half of next week, Rachel, wouldn't look too bad. Anyway, let's get on with it today. Quite a few showers in the forecast, particularly for central and southern Scotland later on, where there'll be some hail and also some thunder at times. Maximum temperatures getting up to about 18 degrees Celsius in Scotland with some bright or sunny spells. A few sunny spells for Northern Ireland as well. The risk of the odd shower here and there. Temperatures about 17 degrees. And then for England and to Wales, for most of us, I think we might well see a shower at some point during the course of today. They'll start in the west around northwest England, Wales and the southwest. And they're quite heavy into this afternoon with some hail and some thunder. Moving their way eastwards gradually through the day. Some bright or sunny spells in between, but mostly cloudy. And temperatures about 16 to 21 Celsius.
Here's Michelle. Well, South Lanarkshire, the M74 southbound is closed between junctions 7 and 8 following an accident. And on Merseyside, the M57 southbound also still closed between junctions 2 and 1. A full update in about 10 minutes' time. On digital and online,
this is B-Radio 5 Live.
Now, 5 Live Breakfast. Your call, weekday mornings from 9. Call 0500 909 693. Call are free from most landlines, but some networks and mobile operators will charge. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
What should Britain do about the Iraq crisis? It's 9:39. That's what we're asking this morning. Plenty of people to talk to about this, which we will do in just a moment. A couple of texts on this. No, we should not get involved, says Nick in Cambridge. If we do, it will create revenge attacks against the UK. It will be a never-ending fight. And another one here, you cannot create a vacuum, says Graham, and then complain when people start to clean their house. We shouldn't have gone into Iraq, but we also left too soon. The thoughts of Amila, Martin, Frank and Tom to come, but first, Gillian Hargreaves has an update on the A-level results. Coming out this morning, record numbers of university places are on offer, we're being told. Gillian, why is that the case?
It's the buyer's market this year, Rachel. Two things have been going on. First, there is a dip in the number of 18-year-olds. That began last year and it's carried through this year. But also, many more places have been made available. The Chancellor, George Osborne, announced that there would be 30,000 extra places created in universities for this year. And universities can recruit, as they've been able to do for the past 2 years, as many students as they like with A, B grades or higher. So the top flight candidates, they can recruit as many of those as they like. So that means that there are quite a lot of opportunities going begging. So if you find yourself in clearing, there's everything to play for. Intriguingly, one Vice-Chancellor has said, even when you get your offer, if your results are slightly lower this year, the university might honour that offer because there is so much surplus capacity.
And Gillian, in general, are we seeing results going down slightly? There was a prediction that might be the case because they've tightened up resits and that kind of thing, haven't they?
Yes. This is the first year where people will have done an exam after 2 years' study. So they've got rid of modularised chunks of learning and exams, and they've got rid of the January sitting of exams. So you can only sit them once in the summer. What we've seen, intriguingly, is overall the pass rate has dipped slightly to 98%. But the number of candidates getting A star, that's the top grade, has risen this year.
You're just tuning in to a Crackpot. This is a live broadcast. I was supposed to go on just before the news, talk to some politicians, but my signal was on mute. They said they would come back to me after the news. So we're just waiting here. Once I've done this call, we'll finish this show and we'll restart in about 10-15 minutes with a morning phone out show. Tell 10 to tell 10, retweet to retweet. Stay there.
Very best exam grade. Interestingly, there's also been a rise in traditional subjects, so things like maths and further maths. Further maths has the largest concentration of candidates getting the top grade of any subject. So if you've sat further maths and you've done well today, you can give yourself a pat on the back because statistically that means you were among the brightest of the bright.
They are very clever people. Wherever they are. Well done. Thanks, Gillian Hargreaves, our education correspondent. Tom in Glasgow, you've been very patient holding on. Good morning. What would you like to say?
Thank you, Rachel. Now, first of all, if you look at that area, for over 100 years, we were celebrating or commemorating the 100th anniversary of the First World War, and it should always be remembered that France and Britain, after the First World War, it was called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and Britain called it the Arab Facade. When the empire was crumbling in places like India and Ireland, they had to find what they called puppet leaders. And these puppet leaders, like the Saud family in Saudi Arabia, non-democratic, boil people alive, jail people if they speak out against them, they're our best friends. We don't go about calling for changing democracy there. Maybe we should go and chase these terrorist funders because their best friends are ISIS. So let's look at it this way. We find out that Mossad and maybe CIA have been training these bunch of terrorists, as we call them. So the CIA, just like we did in Nicaragua funding the Contras, this war of aggression by our country, and we're a lapdog for the United States of America, Pax Americana, we are invading country after country. We're backing nut job after nut job. What time are we going to learn a lesson? Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden were our friends. ISIS were our friends when we were in fighting, or they were in fighting on our behalf, a proxy war against Assad. And then lo and behold, we wonder when they walk into Iraq and then they start becoming our enemy. This is the height of hypocrisy. This is the disaster. This is Nazism. Never mind what that guy was saying. Nazism is what's happened in Palestine. Why weren't these MPs on talking about Palestine and asking for action for people to go and invade Israel for their illegal intervention in killing children, breaking every United Nations convention? Where's the troops to stop these scumbags?
Thomas, yeah, pause for breath for a moment. And we have, of course, discussed the situation in Gaza here on
Big wow.
Can I just be clear? Is it your contention that the Mossad and the CIA are training ISIS?
Well, this is the facts. They were in there fighting a proxy war against someone. Remember when Bush says this axis of terrorism, North Korea, Syria, Iraq, this was planned for over a decade. What part don't you understand? By interfering in country after country, this is terrible. How can you, what part don't you see that Mossad and CIA were in there and probably still are? If there's any Muslims out there who are thinking about going fighting for Islamic State, then be aware. This is a Zionist plot. This is a Zionist plan. They were fighting a proxy war. They were.
That there is entirely evidence to that. It'll be very interesting.
Okay, there you go.
And thank you for your point of view. Amila in Bromyard in Worcestershire. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you heard them? Yeah.
Where is the money coming from to fund these kinds of organisations? It's a very, very complex web, isn't it? Which I suppose makes
There we
the
go.
issue of whether Britain should become an even more difficult